to Sunday morning yoga. We are actually going to start in child's pose. So if you guys want to come down to your mats, and you can have your knees all the way together, hip distance apart or nice and wide. If you want, you can bring the points of your toes together. Just find a comfortable position because we're going to be here for a couple of minutes. You can stretch your arms long or even bring your arms to your side. You can bring something under your head to rest your head on. So we're going to take just a couple of minutes here to help get us centered, fully rooted in this moment as we start this gentle practice. So let's do a couple of rounds of focused breath work. We're going to breathe in to the count of 5 and then pause and breathe out to the count of 5. So go ahead and take a deep breath in and out. We're all starting in child's pose. So on your next inhale, breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold at the top and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause and in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Hold and in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just come to your own easy breath. Nothing's controlled or manipulated. Instead, recognize the ease in which your breath moves in and out of your body with no conscious effort on your part. And I invite you to take a moment to set your intention for your practice today. Because it's a gentle yoga session, it's not necessarily going to be physically challenging, but sometimes that can make it more psychologically challenging. We don't have the distractions of hard work to pull us out of our own mind. So instead, perhaps your intention could be to sit with an unpleasant thought and maybe just kind of soften around that. Or maybe you just want to breathe deeper and relax and let everything else go. So let's take one more breath here. And on your next inhale, go ahead and rise up into tabletop. And we're just going to move a couple of times with our breath here. As you exhale, and start before you do anything, walk your hands out about a half a print to a whole hand print further than where you already had them. And then as you exhale, you're going to go back into a child's pose, but really stretch your arms forward to get a nice good stretch through your shoulders. And then as you inhale, come back up. Exhale, sink back down, maybe walk the hands a little further. On your next inhale, round your back and tuck your chin. And then on your next exhale, before you go down, tilt your belly button towards the floor. Reach your arms long. 2 more breaths, rounding your back as you rise up. Exhale, drop the belly button, drop back down, and walk the hands to the right. This time we're going to keep the head lifted. This is a more active pose. See if you can inch those left fingertips a little further up. Pull the left hip a little further back. And then walk the hands through center and to the left. Walk that right hand up a little bit more. Drop the right hip back. And come center, rise back up to tabletop. Inhale the right arm up. Maybe not your full range of motion, especially if you haven't moved a lot this morning. And exhale, thread that arm under, drop down on the shoulder. Maybe you want to extend that left leg long for a little bit more of a hip stretch. Maybe open it up a little bit. Unwind, come back to center, and inhale the left arm up. Thread it under the right arm, drop down on the shoulder. You may want to stay right here. Maybe it feels good to extend that right leg long. Open up the right hip a little bit. Unwind and come center for cat and cow. As you inhale, lift your chin where it becomes parallel with the mat as you press your heart through your arms and drop your belly. As you exhale, pull your chin in as you roll your spine up one vertebrae at a time, coming all the way to your shoulder blades. Inhale, shift the chest forward, drop the belly, roll the shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, start at the tailbone, roll the spine up all the way to the shoulder blades as the chin drops. 2 more breaths. And last one. Okay, extend the right leg straight behind you, and then take just a minute to line that left knee up where it's directly under the left hip, and then cross the right leg all the way behind the left knee. Drop that right foot down on the ground and rotate the top half of your body to turn and look at that right foot. Check in with your hands. See if your weight's evenly distributed between each hand. More than likely, you're more shifted into your right arm. See if you can shift that back. And notice how it deepens your stretch on your right side. Lengthen the space between that right hip and the right side of the rib cage. Pull the belly button in. And inhale the right leg up and back to center. Other side. Inhale the left leg up. Center the right knee under the right hip. And then cross the leg behind the right leg. Drop down on the floor and turn to your right to look at that left foot. Shift the weight where it's evenly distributed between both hands. Nudge that left hip down as you lift up through the left side of the rib cage and pull the belly button in. Notice how all these little micro adjustments change how this feels in your body. And inhale the left leg up and bring down into tabletop. curl the toes under and start to ease the hips up and back into down dog. And really take a few breaths in down dog to really explore it. Don't be afraid to move, especially in your first down dog of your practice. Maybe shift your hips side to side. Play around with your hand position. Maybe kind of almost doing a little miniature cat and cow where you press your belly towards your thighs, gentle round in the back, and then come back to belly button towards the thighs. Maybe bend the knees deep and then drop the heels down as you straighten the legs. And then walk the feet kind of close together and drop both heels to the right. So both sets of toes are pointed to the left. Just feel that stretch through the hips. If this doesn't feel good, don't do it. And come center. Other side, drop the heels to the left, toes point to the right. And center, start to slowly, I mean like a couple inches at a time, walk the feet towards the hands. And come to a standing forward fold. Grab opposite elbows, opposite hands, sway side to side. Soft bend in the knees. Weight of the head pulls down your neck. Next, inhale, slide the hands up the shins. Come up with a flat back, extend out through the crown of the head. And exhale, fold down. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, we're going to come into our mountain pose, our Tadasana. So feet hip distance apart. Close your eyes for a second, unless if that just doesn't feel right for you or you feel too off balance, then obviously don't do it. But close or soften your eyes and really tune into that rooting through your feet. We always hear about rooting ourselves in yoga, and it's kind of this abstract thing. But what we're really trying to do is get as much real estate of our foot of our feet as we can into the ground. So really think about that. Like, you're not necessarily trying to spread your toes as wide as you can possibly get them, but if there's somewhere where you can flatten out your feet a little bit more, make just a little bit more contact with the mat. Pay attention that if you shift forward or back, maybe your weight's kind of shifted to the outsides of your feet or the insides of your feet. Maybe you're shifted a little bit more into the balls of your feet. So see where you can make a little bit more contact with the ground, where you can push a little bit more of your weight down more evenly through your feet. Make sure your knees aren't locked out. You want a soft, gentle bend in all of your joints, from your ankles to your knees, your hips, your elbows. Your neck is nice and long, but it's still soft. And breathe. On your next inhale, let the arms sweep overhead. At the top of the movement, try and lengthen your spine a little bit more and create just the tiniest little back bend. And then as you exhale, pull the elbows back to a 90-degree angle and open up into cactus arms with this tiny little back bend. And inhale up. Exhale, open up. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale up. This time the right hand catches the left wrist. Exhale, reach towards the right side. On your next inhale, see if you can get a little longer through both sides of the body. And then as you exhale, rotate slightly to where you're kind of gazing under the left underarm into just the most gentle little twist. And repeat that with one more breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rotate and deepen. Next, inhale, come up nice and long. Exhale, left hand catches the right wrist and exhale to the left. On the next inhale, lengthen both sides of the body. Exhale, rotate and reach a little further to the left. One more time, lengthen both sides of the body. Exhale, reach towards the left. And then inhale up nice and long. Exhale, bring the arms down to the side and up to heart center. Okay, so check back in with your feet. Did you lose that grounding as we move through that? Just as the more you can start to tune into this, not only does this more firmly root you in your body, but this is going to make you aware of any imbalances that you have. Are you shifting into your toes? That can be really hard on your knees. Are you sinking back into your heels? This can really throw you off balance. If you're leaning too much to the outsides of your feet or the insides of your feet, it can cause ankle problems, foot problems. So take every opportunity to focus on how grounded you are through your feet. And this is going to start to translate into everyday movements. It'll become a subconscious adjustment your body makes. Take one more breath here. Pull in through the belly button. Lift up nice and long. Next, inhale, reach up nice and long. Exhale, hands pass through heart center, flat back, come to a standing forward fold. Stay here for a couple of breaths, maybe sway side to side, do whatever feels right. Okay, and then start to come to a nice still pose. Next, inhale, come up halfway, lifting out nice and long through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold down and step the left foot down, drop down on the left knee. Inhale, rise up and bring both hands to the right thigh. And see how much length you can create in the spine by pressing into the hands and lifting up through the chest. And then either stay here or inhale the arms overhead. Pay attention to those shoulders. Make sure they're not shrugged up around your ears. Our arms are overhead, so obviously we can't keep our shoulders completely packed down. But if you find that this really limits your breathing or your range of motion, then come right here with your hands to heart center. And then on your next inhale, lift slightly out of it. Exhale, deepen. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, deepen. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, deepen. And then left hand comes to the outside, the left side of the mat, and inhale the right arm up. If the right arm doesn't feel good overhead, bring it to the waist. In fact, I encourage you to experiment with it, because sometimes bringing this right hand to the waist or even the lower back and then kind of gently pushing into that lower back can really help deepen your twist and open up that left hip flexor. So it's just like with props. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm too far, I'm too advanced for props. But sometimes these little adjustments can actually make our practice so much more beneficial. So that's when our ego has to step out of the way. And then inhale the right arm up. Exhale, bring the right hand to the mat. Curl the left toes under and step up into a high lunge. And then step back into down dog. So a couple deep breaths in down dog. So gently spread the fingers wide. This is another kind of misnomer. We don't want to spread our fingers as wide as we possibly can. We want a nice, gentle, sturdy spread through our fingers. See if you can press down that area between the thumbs and the pointer fingers. And on your next inhale, step your right foot forward, bring your left knee down. Inhale, walk both hands up to the left thigh. Okay, so on your next inhale, press into the thigh to lift the chest and lengthen the spine. And then from here, if you want to inhale the arms up, but again, pay attention. Does this start to constrict your ability to breathe deeply or to lift up through the chest, to keep those shoulders somewhat rolled back? Inhale, lift up slightly out of the pose. Exhale, deepen. Inhale, lift. Exhale, deepen. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, deepen. Right hand comes to the outside of the right side of the mat. Left hand lifts up. So maybe you keep the left hand here. Maybe you experiment with bringing this left hand to the waist or the lower back and see if you can deepen the pose a little bit. Or maybe it just feels more supportive here. Either way, deepen your breath. Okay, if you've got the hand on the lower back, on the next inhale, left hand floats up, and exhale, left hand comes down to the mat. Curl the right toes under, press the hips up to high lunge, and then step back into down dog. Couple deep breaths here. Next inhale, right foot comes forward and left foot spins and drops where it's parallel with the back side of the mat. So again, this is early in the day. We haven't done a lot to create heat in the body, so you may want to walk your hands up your leg to come into warrior two, or get nice and solid through all those supportive muscles around the trunk of the body, and inhale up to warrior two. Open up through the right knee, roll the shoulders back and down. And then straighten the right leg and step the left foot up about halfway. And so from here, I'm going to come this way to make sure you guys can see me good. So from here, we're going to kind of go into kind of like a baby triangle. So we're not trying to get deep into this pose. We haven't created nearly enough heat for that. So instead, bring the left hand to the inside of the left thigh, and we're just going to start to hinge. I'm sorry, not left hand, right hand. Right hand to the right thigh. We're going to start to hinge down, then extend this left arm all the way up, or maybe it just feels better on the hip. But all we're trying to do here is nudge these hips open just a little bit more. We're not trying to necessarily get into a full triangle. Pay attention to this right knee. Make sure it's not locked out. It's not necessarily bent, but it's got the softest little bit of buoyancy in it. One more big breath here. Okay, deepen that bend a little bit more to rise up, and then we're gonna rotate the feet in the opposite direction. We're gonna inch that right foot back out a little bit, and we're gonna come to warrior two on the other side. So check in with that left knee. Make sure the left knee is open, shoulders are rolled back and down. Deep breath here. One more breath. And then straighten the front leg. Inch that right foot up about halfway. Make sure you've got that little micro bend in the left leg. And then now the left hand comes to the inside of the left thigh and start to just reach down. And then the right leg, right arm either extends up in the air or comes to the right hip. See if you can nudge that right hip back just a little bit. Make sure you didn't lock out that left knee when you weren't looking. One more big breath here. And then deeper bend into the left leg as you press into the left foot to rise up. Both feet come parallel to the mat and then start to walk them nice and wide. And so from here, try and almost kind of turn your feet just slightly in. You're just the slightest bit pigeon-toed. And then I want you to press a little bit of extra weight into the outsides of your feet. And this is going to really protect your knees. If you can remember to keep that extra weight pressed into the outsides of the feet. Create the smallest little bend in the lower back. Hands come to the hips and start to hinge forward with a nice flat back. Maybe hold here for a second. Activate the core by pulling in the belly button, all these muscles around the chest. And then fold all the way down. So you can bring your hands to your shins or your ankles if you need to. You can bring a prop in front of you. But just find a way to relax down into this wide leg standing forward fold. Couple more breaths here. On your next inhale, rise up slightly with a straight back, and then walk your hands towards the right. So you can have them just slightly towards the right, or maybe you bring both hands to this right ankle. And walk the hands through center, flat back, and then to the left. Pass through center, and then heel toe the feet in slightly and come down on the knees. So you're on your knees wide, on the opposite direction on your mat you usually are, long ways. And so we're not going to come into the full expression of this pose because, again, we're not really creating enough heat in the body. But what I want you to do is bring your toes together and then bring your knees as wide as your body will allow right now. And then from here, you're just going to walk your hands forward. So it's like a really wide-kneed child's pose. This is a nice, gentle hip opener, but we've got to really focus on our breath, and we need to stay here for a few breaths. So nice deep breaths really help open up the hips. 2 more big breaths. And then slowly start to walk the hands back towards the body. Pull the knees in where they're parallel with each other and hip distance apart. And we're going to come into a gentle variation of camel. So what I really want to encourage most people to do, because again, it's early, we have not created a lot of heat. So for a lot of us, just placing our hands on our lower back, fingers pointed down, and then inhaling the chest up and dropping slightly back is going to be a very sufficient back bend and opener right now for us. If you feel a little bit more bendy than this right now, you can try a half camel. You can prop this left leg up and drop down, or you can try the full expression. But again, be really mindful of where your body is right now. Press through your hips, press forward, draw the inner thighs together. And then if you're in full camel, walk your hands up to your lower back. And then wherever you are, drop your hips back and come into child's pose. One more breath here. Inhale, rise up into tabletop, curl the toes under, down dog. Okay, so now we're going to take our left leg and we're going to step it under the right side of our body. And then either stay here and focus on getting even with your weight distribution on your right and left hand, or inhale this left arm up. And come back to center. Left foot comes back beside the right foot, and then step the right foot through. Same thing. Maybe you just focus on that even distribution, or you inhale the left arm up. And exhale the left hand down, down dog. One more big breath here. And then shift forward, come down on the knees and lower all the way to the floor. We're going to do 3 gentle cobras. So hands come into either side of the rib cage. Elbows point straight back. Roll the shoulders back and down. Ground the legs down through the mats by pushing down through the tops of your feet, your thighs, and your pelvis. On your next inhale, start to rise up through the chest. Roll the shoulders back and down. Exhale, lower down. Again, inhale up. Remember, the effort's coming from the middle part of the back, not the arms. And exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. And exhale down. Bring the arms down to the side. Turn the head to the right for one full breath. And head turns to the left for one full breath. Bring the head back to center. You can rest on the forehead or the chin and see if it feels comfortable to interlace your hands behind your back. And if it doesn't, just keep your arms down at your side, tops of the hands pressed into the mat. Inhale, rise up through the shoulders and the chest. And exhale down. Press into tabletop. Toes curl under, down dog. Big breath in down dog. Next, inhale, right leg floats up. And exhale, right leg passes under the body into pigeon. So before we completely go down into pigeon, let's inhale, get nice and long through the spine, lift up through the chest. And as we exhale, we're gonna fold down over that right leg. But then we're gonna inhale, rise back up. And exhale, fold down. One more time, inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold down and hold. Deep breaths, relax into it. Two more full deep breaths. And on your next inhale, slowly press into both hands to rise up. So either stay here and lift the chest, maybe inch that left leg back a little bit more. Or if you feel warm enough and it's part of your practice, bend that left leg, reach back with the right arm. Press into the palm of the hand with the left foot. And then exhale, release, step the right foot back, inhale back up to down dog. Big full breath here. Next, inhale, left leg floats up. Exhale, step through to pigeon with the left leg. So before we go all the way down, inhale, lengthen up through the chest. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, roll up, lift up through the chest. Exhale, fold down one more time. Inhale up. And exhale, fold down. And we stay here for 8 breaths on this side. Two more big breaths. On your next inhale, rise up on both hands. And maybe just lift up through the chest and inch this right leg back a little bit more and stay here. Or perhaps you bend that right leg and reach back with the left arm. Gently pressing the top of the foot into the palm. Gonna open your shoulder up. Create a little bit more of a twist. And then exhale, release. Step the right leg back into tabletop. Inhale up into down dog one more time. Last down dog of the morning. Maybe you want to come back to some movement and exploration. Maybe compare how it feels now to how it felt at the beginning of your practice. And then drop down on both knees, cross the ankles, and come to a seated position. Bring the feet nice and wide. And then we're going to get nice and long through the spine. And then reach for this right foot, or maybe you reach for the right shin, the right thigh, whatever feels right. But what we're going to do next is most important. We're going to inhale this left arm up. We're going to get nice and long through the spine and pierce slightly under that left arm. And we're going to maintain this length on the left side the whole time. So we may want to stay right here, or we may start reaching for the right side of the body, but we're not going to crumple. We're not going to crumple on this right side either. We're not going to rotate down towards the floor. We're keeping that length. See if you can pin that left hip down to the mat a little bit more. And inhale up. Okay, get nice and tall. Reach for the left leg. You can grab it anywhere you need to. Inhale the right arm up. Get nice and long on both sides of the body, but especially on that right side. Rotate open slightly where you're peering under the right arm. And then maintain that length and that rotation as you reach for the left leg. Or maybe you don't reach at all. Maybe you just keep reaching up. And inhale up. Exhale the right arm down. Bring the soles of the feet together. Wrap both of your hands around your feet. You can inch a little closer to your heels. Get nice and tall, and then maybe flap the knees a little bit. Maybe trying to get the knees just a little bit closer to the ground every time. And then slowly start to slow this movement until you come to a nice static stretch. Pull on the feet to lengthen the chest and roll the shoulders back and down. And then slide the feet forward, maybe about half a foot. You may want to even bring a pillow or something to rest on, and we're going to hinge forward, bowing our head towards our feet. One more breath. And then slowly start to roll up. Extend the left leg long, cross the right leg, right leg long, cross the left leg over. Sit up nice and tall. We're gonna wrap this right arm around the left knee. Then take the left hand, bring it behind the body. Press into the mat with this left hand to help lift up through the spine. And then on your next exhale, gently pull on this left knee to help you rotate towards the left. And repeat that a couple of times. So as you inhale, press down through that left hand to lengthen the spine. As you exhale, deepen the twist. One more breath. And then rotate to the right for one breath. Left arm comes to the inside of the left knee. And unwind. Other side. Now left leg long. Cross the right leg over. Left arm wraps around the right knee. Right hand comes to the mat behind you. Press into the mat to lengthen as you inhale. As you exhale, pull on that right knee to twist. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen. 2 more breaths. And rotate to the left for one breath. Right arm comes to the inside of the right knee. And unwind. Come all the way onto your back. Bring your legs up in the air. So you can do this a couple different ways. You can go to a wall and bring your legs up the wall. You can just hold right here. You can slide your hands under your hips or maybe like a little cushion or something under your hips. And once you create this little bit of a platform, it allows you to make this pose more effortless. This is waterfall. And this is just a really good way to nurture our body, to give our heart and our lymphatic system a little bit of extra help. It's an excellent time to send a little bit of extra loving energy into your body. Couple more breaths here. And then bend your knees, slowly bring your feet down to the mat. Bring your feet wide, mat distance apart. If you have anything under your hips, go ahead and remove it. Bring your arms out to your side, and we're gonna very slowly windshield wiper the knees to one side and the other. So our feet are mat distance apart. We drop both knees to the right and both knees to the left. Feet stay wide. So next time your knees drop to the right, let's hold them there for a couple breaths. See if you can get a little longer through the left side of the body. Maybe pull down on that left hip a little bit. And then knees pass through center and to the left. Get a little longer through the right side of the body. And then bring the knees up to center. Right foot comes to the right hand, left foot to the left hand for happy baby. So we want our feet and knees wide and happy baby. We may need to bring our hands behind our knees to accomplish this. Gently pull down towards the floor to open up your hips a little more, maybe rock side to side. And then release, extend your legs long. Let your arms fall loosely to your side and make your way into your final relaxation pose. So maybe this is not what your Shavasana looks like today. Maybe corpse pose doesn't seem right. Maybe you want to lay on your belly or come into child's pose or curl up on your side on your couch. But wherever you are, take a moment to slowly scan your body for tension, to gently release, or to just give permission to eventually release any part of you that's physically or emotionally holding any kind of tension. And breathe. Allow your awareness to slowly start to wander back to the present moment, back into the room, back into your body. Observe any sensations, either external or internal. Use all 5 senses to help draw you fully and completely back into your body and this moment. And then use that 6th sense, that awareness that transcends regular physical sensations, to tune into your wise mind and see what you need in this moment. Perhaps more stillness, perhaps to bring your hands over heart center and channel that self-love, that gentleness that you deserve. Maybe it's more physical. Maybe you need to draw your arms over your head and stretch your arms and legs long in opposite directions. Or maybe it's a little bit of both psychological and physical, where you need to curl up into a tiny little protective ball and maybe roll to one side. take another moment to do what you need to do before, if you decide to do so, joining us in a seated position. This is your practice. You don't have to. I invite you to join me in bringing your hands to prayer over heart center. Allowing any peace or light you've uncovered within yourself. And that's what you've done. You've uncovered it. I haven't given you anything. It's always there. But allowing that to move through your body. And then as you recognize that that light, that energy can never dissipate. It can only be multiplied and felt more. Allowing it to start to move out past the perimeter of your body and into the room, into your home. And then as it starts to move out of your home, imagine it passing through every single person it expands out past, until it spreads across the whole world. Let's take 3 deep breaths to close our practice. With each inhale, lift your gaze, lift your chest up towards the sky. As you exhale, draw your hands back to heart center. Inhale. And thank you for sharing your Sunday morning. Namaste.